Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again for another Appalachian Trail community news, through hiker update, and trail information. Well, happy Labor Day. Glad that you could be here to join me today. If you're out there on the trail, hope you're enjoying not having to be the fact that you don't have a job right now. If you're a through hiker, and then the rest of us, well, we're going back to work tomorrow. But in any case, enjoy the rest of the evening that you have off. Here where I'm at in North Kakalaki, it is 91 degrees. So let's get kicking along with this video so I can get inside and get out of this heat. So what's going on with the trail? Well, we got hikers that are out there. A lot of folks are summit right here in the middle of summit season. So we got a lot of folks that are summiting, and the folks on the trail are getting less and less each week because we don't have a lot of sobos that are coming in and are replenishing those nobos that we're losing. But we got a lot of nobos still out there right now. So Blade Runner is skipping down to Harper's Ferry from New England. She is on her sobo hike, and she is going to go ahead and get down a little further south where she's going to hike through the winter. So apparently it's getting pretty chilly up there in the nights where she's at in the New England states, and she hopes to, in April, go back to New England and finish up there from the New England states down to Harper's Ferry. Hope and Holler, they have been section hiking since 2019, and they decided to go ahead and finish the trail this year. So they did, I guess, a lash from Carver's Gap there at Roan Mountain, and they're now in the New England states somewhere, and they are going to be finishing up at Katahdin in September. Patriarch, he has summited Katahdin, but he's on a flip-flop, so he is going to get off trail for just a week or so, and then going to get right back on. And so he's got a few miles there in the New England that he's got to finish. It's also, I think, New York, Connecticut that he's got to finish, and some few other states. So he's not quite done yet. Pale Rider is through the Whites, and has shown here he's on top of Mount Moosilauke, but he's well past that now. He's somewhere in southern New Hampshire, and he says that it has been a muddy mess. But he's had no trouble finding water because he says the trail has been the water source. Zpacks, he has made it to the summit of Mount Washington, and he is through the Wildcats by now. BD has made it to the 1,500 mark on her flip-flop, and she is down south, and she is through the Triple Crown and heading on in towards Springer. Cobweb Road, Snapshot, and Mountain Crusher, and it looks like they picked up a few other folks there in their tramley. They have made it past the 2,000-mile mark, so now they are just down to, within the hundreds of getting there, within seeing Katahdin, and they are through the Crockers there in Maine, and they got about 2 weeks left, and they'll be summiting. So probably within the next couple days, they'll be in the 100-mile wilderness. Bubbles, she is through the Presidentials. Kenny Powers, he is somewhere in the Whites. And Rock and Roll, he's jumped back on trail at mile 1,537. He's heading Nobo. He is somewhere in Vermud. Says he's seeing Subos and a few Nobos. And then also Mountain Lion and Strider, they have made it up and over Mountain Washington. So that is awesome to see that. Don't know if they're flipping up or not, so we'll see. Right now, Katahdin typically closes somewhere around the middle of October. So folks right now are looking at maybe having about 5 to 6 weeks left to get there to the summit, or else they'll have to flip up. So that'll be interesting to see if any of those folks there will be flipping up. Off trail, we did have a hiker reporting in off trail, and that's Mouse Whisper. So Mount Whisper, you'll recall reported on her several times. She was the girl or lady who had cancer. So she is a cancer survivor. She has had problems with her digestive system, and portions of it have been removed, portions of her colon. So, and that causes dehydration and makes her more susceptible to that. And so, but she has been out there trying to do a through hike. She also has to take infusions, come off the trail, lose her trail legs, take infusions. So in my book, she is just, I'm going to go ahead and say it, she's a badass for getting out there, doing it with all those physical difficulties. But she had to come off because the heat was just getting to her, the dehydration, and she wound up with a pretty nasty, I believe she said it was a bad kidney infection. So she's had to get off. She's recuperating, but she plans on getting back on once she gets recuperating and it cools down from a little bit. It's going to head up to Harper's Ferry somewhere around the first couple weeks in September, and then she's going to keep on hiking. She probably will not be able to make it a through hike and finish in a year, but she's going to go ahead and finish. Not what she wanted, but man, what a stoic lady. What a just awesome. So she is a prime example of, if you can get out there, if you have physical difficulties, if you can make it at all on the trail, you can get out there and do it. Maybe not necessarily a through hike, but you can get out there and do it. So that is awesome. And we've talked about some other organizations out there that will help you get on the trail. Will actually take you on unibikes that are fit with a wheelchair, so that you can get on the trail with those types, with those people helping you as well. So get out there on the trail any way you can. Means a lot to a lot of folks, means a lot to me, and I'm sure it would mean a lot to you. Now, let's talk about who's summiting out there. So Blue, he summited, and he summited with Hollywood. We'll bring them up in just a minute, but congratulations to Blue. And like I said, Hollywood summited with him. I met Hollywood on my hike through Massachusetts, so that was pretty neat to sit there and talk to him for 10 or 15 minutes on the trail, as he was heading Nobo and I was heading Sobo. But it's always neat to talk to people that that are part of the community, but that are viewers out there and people that are reporting in. So he and Blue summited, and they also summited with Shooter and Sunshine. And Hollywood, he was number 542. So that has been pretty recent. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we are with the number of summits. We'll give you some stats on those in just a minute here. But Hollywood said it was sunny and clear. The views were great. However, they did have 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts up there. So those are pretty significant gusts up there on Katahdin. Yellow, he is summiting Katahdin, and he is, as soon as he gets back down to the park, he is preparing for his 1100 mile ride back to Ohio. So he's going to get off trail and take an 1100 mile bike ride back to Ohio. So that is definitely, he must be in shape for that. Yellow was number 40 when he started down in Georgia, and he finished 453 there at Katahdin after 206 days on trail. He wanted to thank all those who were trail angels, and the hikers that he met along the trail just said those were awesome. So here's a trio that we've been talking about pretty much every week. McDuck, the Okie, and JFK, they have summited. So congratulations to them. They summited on August 21st. Here's a picture of their summit, and here's a picture when they first started. They said that they seemed to age just a little bit since they started on February 28th together. So that is awesome. They pretty much hiked the whole trail together throughout the whole course. So congratulations to you guys. It was really neat to get your updates each and every week as you went on. And we also had a section hiker who finished the entire trail, and that was Philmont. So Philmont gets his name from the Boy Scout camp that's in, I think it's in New Mexico. And so he was a scouter and apparently spent some time there at Philmont, so he took that trail name. A lot of good trails up there, great Boy Scout camp. I've never experienced that myself as a Eagle Scout or as a scouter, as an adult scouter, but in any case, congratulations to him. After 17 years of section hiking, he finally finished. Lucky Colleague, he is summited. Lucky Colleague was from our UK contingent, and when he left Springer, he was number 1,540. Harper's Ferry, he was 393, and Katahdin, he was 372. So it took him just under 5 months, 145 days. And he said he had 0 peanut butter bought. Now, he said peanut butter bought. I don't know if he bummed it off people or not, but that would be quite a feat to hike the whole Appalachian Trail with no peanut butter. And he had no blisters suffered. That's crazy. And he saw no coyotes. So coyotes, I can probably see that. I don't know that I've seen a coyote on the trail. I know a lot of you probably have. Leave a comment if you've seen a coyote on the trail before. I've never seen one throughout my adventures on there, but he wanted to thank every trail angel, hostel driver, shuttle driver, hostel owner, hitch people that picked him up, people that followed him on YouTube, just all the support he got throughout the whole trip. He also wants to thank people that donated to his cause. He was raising money for cancer awareness, and so he wanted to thank all those people, and he just wanted to thank everybody here. Being somebody that came from the UK, he said that the people here on the trail and within the trail community represented America and this country so well there that was something that we were to be proud of. And he gave 2 examples. He was reminded there in Pennsylvania of all the water caches when it was really dry that people put out for the hikers there. He goes, that got him through Pennsylvania and some other states. I know the ATC frowns on water caches, but thank you for all you trail angels that put it out there. Matter of fact, the ATC actually removes water caches from the trail. So, but thank you for folks that do that. And he also want to thank the hostel owners up there in Vermont during the state of emergency when we had all the floods. He said they put their comfort and their their safety above. They put the hikers above their own comfort and safety. So he wanted to give a shout out to them up there. And then Blacksburg, who was hiking with Patriarch, we mentioned him before when Patriarch, he summited, but we said he was having to finish some other sections that he hasn't done yet. But he summited with Blacksburg, who they've been hiking with pretty much throughout the state of Maine. And Blacksburg was issued number 551 when he summited. And when he started Amicalola, he was number 174. That was on February 13th. And Harper's Ferry, he was 158. So he went from 174 to 551 there at Baxter State Park. So I'll give you a few stats of where we are with folks that have summited in the summit numbers. In 2021, pretty much on this date, within a day or so, we were at number 671 hikers had summited by this time. So for me, that's probably a result of pent-up demand from COVID. When people had to get off the trail in 2019, and then in 2020 people were off trail. It was a little sketchy as to whether or not people could get out there, and so that was kind of a recovery year. In 2019 at this time we were in the mid 500s of summits, and in 2018 we had a total of 728 by this time had finished. So that was a big year, 2018. And then in 2019, like I said before, we were kind of mid 500, so folks had probably gotten off there. So those are kind of some stats you see. So I would say that we are, we had that pent-up demand in 2021, so we're, that demand is probably waning a little bit now. But as it has been over the years, we'll probably still maybe see a leveling off, but it's still probably just a little bit of increase each year. We'll see how that goes next year. But one of those stats are kind of always interesting to me to see how we do from year to year. If you're a hiker out there on the trail and you want to be included in this update, whether you've summited or not, even if you've summited and you've never updated, let us know and send us a picture and your summit number and what your numbers were at Harper's Ferry and when you left. We want to know that. That's good information. People like to see that information out there. But then also, if you're a Sobo, we want to know when you finish, or a flip-flopper. We want to know when you finished, where you finished, and how things are going. So if you're still out there on the trail or summit, what have you, send in the information to me. I'll be glad to include you in those updates, and the information for DM or email is down below in the description section. So some news we got out there. I wanted to get this right up front because I know a lot of people don't hang around long when we get to the news section. The Fresh Ground and the Leapfrog Cafe has a fundraiser, a very needed fundraiser going on right now. So the van is getting ready to die. The engine's getting ready to go out. It's got water leaks, oil leaks, and the transmission is getting ready to go out. So you know anything at all about Fresh Ground, if you've been out there on the trail at any length of time, you'll know Fresh Ground Leapfrog Cafe. Fresh Ground goes out there and feeds people throughout the course of the thru hiker season. So he has fed so many people, I can't even imagine, probably thousands that he's fed out there. And he goes out for like six weeks at a time, and he may come home for a week to take care of some things around home in North Carolina, and then he goes right back out on the trail. And he's up and down the trail starting on February 14th and just going throughout the whole hiker season. So he's got 375,000 miles on that van, and it needs a new engine, new transmission. It's going to go out at any time. So he's doing a fundraiser. We're trying to raise $8,000 for that. So you can give to him. You can go to his Facebook page, there, and it's the Leapfrog Cafe or Fresh Ground the Leapfrog Cafe. You can give through Venmo, PayPal. You can send him a check through snail mail. There's just a whole plethora of ways you can give to Fresh Ground. But please give to him, and let's keep the Leapfrog Cafe going. He wants to keep it going. He wants to, keep it going for years and years to come. So, what he does out there, if you've ever been a hiker and received any of that support from him, leave a comment down below so that others will see. Because Fresh Ground, if you're watching this, and I know you do, you're the man. We love you, and we thank you for what you do out there for the hiker community. Now, we also had a hiker rescue on the knife edge there at Katahdin. Don't be this hiker. So this was a hiker that summited. Don't know if it was a through hike or not. Was thinking that it was, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to mention any names, but they did not summit until 5:30 p.m. That is too late to be summited, even if you come down the Hunt Trail system. But they decided to come down the knife edge, and they were with a group, and this person started feeling bad. And if you know anything at all about the knife edge, you'll know that that is not something you come down quickly. Even the Hunt Trail is not something you come down quickly. But the knife edge is a very dangerous trail, and it says it's knife edge because places it's rock scrambled. It's only wide enough for one hiker, and so they had to go up there and help the hiker and help the whole party. And they wound up spending the night on the mountain, and it turned into like an 11-hour rescue because they couldn't come down in the dark and with the high winds and the temperature. So there's no reason for that to happen. No reason at all. Do not plan your hike to where you're summiting before 5:30, where you got plenty of daylight to get down, and plan for something to go wrong, even if you're coming down the Hunt Trail system. But don't be that hiker. Don't be that group. And then Spineless Cougar sends in his report for the week. So he has hikers, and Spineless Cougar is a trail angel out there, does trail magic in Vermont for hikers. And he says that hikers are still reporting lots of mud in Vermont. He says it sounds like from the way they're talking is a lot more than in previous years. And typically this time of year, the mud is not as bad up there. But he, on the day he was out there last week, he had fed 7 Nobo and 2 Sobo on the AT, and about 3 folks on the long trail. The medium pack weights he had up there was, he had around 31 was the average, and 32 was the medium up there. So pack weights have come down. I think there was, though, a couple in there that were in the low 40s. So don't know why somebody has a 40 and then somebody else has a 25 or something. But that always interests me, is what somebody in that 40-pound pack has that the person in the 25-pound pack doesn't need. And if you're carrying a 40-pound pack, that's no problem. You carry your whatever you're carrying. That's your thing. So don't think I'm disparaging you at all for carrying a heavy pack. Some people are good with that, and hey, man, more power to you. And then the elementary teacher that we talked about a lot, particularly last year, Iris and the fabulous Firsties, she was using the AT to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, and history, and a lot of other stuff, as well as fitness, to her class. And so she left the school that she was at. They weren't supporting her really well with what she was doing and raising that next group of hikers, that next part of the hiker community. And so she is in a whole lot better place now, a whole lot better school where she's at. They support her 100%. You supported her at her old school, amazingly so. You would send trail magic, and you would send hiker paraphernalia. There was one hiker actually sent his journal to her so that their class could read that. So that is such a cool thing that she does, promoting the AT, but mainly promoting, making it fun, making education fun for the kids. And so down below, I will leave an address if you want to send her, just a letter to her class if you're a thru hiker. Or if if you want to send her some trail magic, folks have done that. They've sent patches, stickers, maps, all kind of neat stuff to her. So all that is neat stuff that she can do in the class, books, what have you, about the AT or nature in general, because she's teaching nature about that's on the AT as well. And one thing they're doing now is that at her new school, not only are they hiking the AT, they're actually, and they're doing this virtually, they are doing the ECT. So that's the Eastern Continental Trail, and that starts down in Key West, Florida, and goes, and it encompasses the Florida Trail, the Pinhoti, the Alabama Road Walk, the Benton MacKay Trail, then the Appalachian Trail, and it goes all the way up, and then it hits the International Appalachian Trail above Katahdin and goes on into Newfoundland and into Canada. So that is neat. They're going to learn a whole lot this year. So thanks a lot, Irish, for doing that, and hope you get some more support from the hiker community out there. The Green Mountain Club, they are reopening Pico Camp. So Pico Camp is a shelter area there where folks on the AT on trail north of Killington, Vermont, stay in that shelter, and it had been closed due to a person there whose name was Salt. He was an arsonist, but he was also there, had taken up residence at this camp, and he was just being a pain to people there, and actually physically touching women that would come in there in the camp. And so and they had not been able to get him out and not been able to catch him, but his stuff was there, and so they closed Pico Camp. Well, now it's been reopened because they feel like they've gotten rid of that. He's not there anymore. His belongings are not there anymore. There's no evidence of it being anymore for the past 6 weeks or so. If you see him around there, you're a hiker, whether you're just a through hiker, section hiker, or anybody coming through there, please let the Green Mountain Club and authorities know that Salt is back, and so that they can go up there and deal with that. And then ALDA, that's the Appalachian Long Distance Hiker Association. They got a few things in the hopper going on. ALDA is an organization that cares about hikers out there, hikers on the Appalachian Trail. The ATC don't give a hoot and a holler about folks on the Appalachian Trail, hikers. They care about the treadway, but they don't care about hikers. They care mainly about the management of the trail and telling you what to do. They destroy water caches, they pull water caches, they don't want trail angels out there, they poo-poo on that. So, but ALDA is different. ALDA is all about the hikers out there. And ALDA is about doing things for the treadway as well, but they concentrate on the hikers. So they got their convention coming up in Abington, Vermont, and that's October 6th. And if you'll go to the ALDA website, and that's ALDHA, just do a Google search for that, and you'll find their website there. So that I've been to that before. That's always a neat time. They have classes. A lot of, of course, the hiker community is there for the whole weekend. So they got a lot of neat classes. Their keynote speaker this time is going to be Scott Benenfro, aka Aquaman. So he did a Sobo trip, and he started in winter as soon as Katahdin opened in the winter. So yes, Katahdin is open in the winter, but they wait till it freezes over completely. And once it freezes over, there can be no more damage done to the alpine environment there. They'll let people go up there. So he summited Katahdin on a frigid day and Sobo down and finished there at Springer Mountain. So that was an awesome trip. If you weren't part of that, or if you not familiar with that, I would go back and see if you can find some information about that. You can go back to from last year, my videos, and I featured him on a regular basis. And then Roll Tide, he has been, Roll Tide last year was at the Nauman campsite there up in tent site in the Whites. This year he was a ridge runner with the ATC, probably the only ATC employee that'll talk to me, and the only one that I got good things to say about. Of course, I know there's a lot of great ATC employees out there. There's one that I can't stand, and that's Sandra Marr, and she's directed the ATC in a complete wrong direction, but we're not going to go there right now because we're talking about good things. And that's Roll Tide. So he was a ridge runner there in the Smokies this year, did a great job. A lot of folks had good things to say about him. So he is running for to be on the board there of ALDA. So he asked people, if you're a member of ALDA, to go and vote for him, so that he can get elected as one of the board members. And I will give him a shout out, and because he's just been a really neat guy. Correspond with him typically throughout the year, telling me how things are going at whatever campsite he's maintaining. So he's all about the AT. So Roll Tide, good luck. Hope people come out and vote for you. Have heard that there's lots of water problems in the Triple Crown, very dry through there. So if you're a trail angel in that area or somebody that replenishes water caches through there, hikers are telling me that there is a needed water through the Triple Crown, that the Roanoke area is minus 4 inches of rain from what is typical on average for this time of the year. And then a really great thing that's occurred is that I got a notice that Jerry Bailey, also known on trail, his trail name is Bear Snack, he's a 75-year-old man. He's missing in the shanties. He has been found. So apparently he had some type of issue going on, and he was around camp with people at a shelter, and he was being, his speech was very repetitive in what he was saying, and he just walked off without his gear or any of his equipment. This was reported by the folks at the shelter and to the Rangers. The Rangers came in to check on him, found his gear. A search ensued, and so he was out in the woods in Shenandoah's for at least one night, maybe 2 nights overnight. But they did find him. He's in good spirits. He's okay. He was miles from the shelter in a very, very deep part of the park, and so it took him a while to get him out. But folks were praying for him. Your prayers are answered. Bear Snack is good. And then Lori Bachman, she's a viewer. She sent in that there are going to be changes to the how the AT is going to be managed through the Triple Crown area. So she says the U.S. Forest Service there is restricting off-trail access, particularly around Dragon's Tooth area, because there's been some trampling of stuff going on and just a lot of damage in that area from and it's probably mainly due to a lot of day hikers. A lot of day hikers, when I came through the Triple Crown and came through up there at Dragon's Tooth, there was a lot of day hikers up there, a lot of overnight hikers, and it's creating trail damage, which is creating erosion, loss of sediment up there. So they're going to have to start doing something about it. And what the Forest Service, along with the ATC, has decided that they are going to put together some type of visitor use management plan. So what that means is that they're going to start limiting where you can camp up through there. They're going to limit dispersed camping. Stealth sites are probably going to do away with up there. Hopefully they, McAfee Knob, which is right there at Dragon's Tooth, gets a ton of day hikers up there through there as well. Hopefully they won't start making you have a permit for that. But all of this visitor use management all that usually winds up being that it's going to restrict people from getting in there in some way, shape, or form. Unfortunately, section hikers, lash hikers, and section hikers and through hikers are going to be affected by that, and it's really not on them. It's not something that's causing them, but the general public has every right to use that area as well, just for the day. But people get off trail, and of course you've seen people abuse it, so unfortunately that's going to affect us all. I'll leave a link down below. They had a period during the month of August when you could go and comment on their visitor use management plan. Unfortunately, they only do it for 30 days. They should do it for 60 or 90 days, because it takes 30 days for people to actually discover that there is the opportunity for people to make a comment and go and look at their visitor use plan. But I just found out about it, so I'm getting it out there to you. But I'll leave a link down below to that YouTube that they did publish that, so you can go and look at that. If a couple of you go and look at it, give me a synopsis of what they talked about there. I'll put that in the next week's update. And that way, so we can all know what's going on. It's like a 2-hour meeting. I don't really have time to go and listen to all that. But in any case, if you've got time to do that, I would greatly appreciate that. One good thing going on the Triple Crown there, the overpass has been approved and has actually gone out for bids there at the McAfee Knob Trailhead. So they're putting an overpass over the road there. It's like a 4-lane road, very busy, blind curb. So I'm glad they're doing that. That's going out for bids, and we should know by the end of the year. The money's been put aside for that. Some monies have. Hopefully it'll be enough with the cost of inflation. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but hopefully it will, and hopefully the prices will come in there. So looking forward to seeing if that gets started, and I'll let you know as soon as I hear something. All right, folks, that is all I've got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here. Happy Labor's Day. Labor's Day. I cannot get that right. I keep screwing that up. Cut. Hey, y'all. Okay, here we go. Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again for another Appalachian Trail community news, through hiker update, and trail information. Well, happy Labor's Day. Is that right? Happy Labor Day. It's Happy Labor Day. Cut.